Welcome to training in Adobe Audition. This is one of many programs used by professionals to record and edit audio, whether they work in radio, podcasts, film, or music. It is paid software and is part of a suite of creative editing programs made by Adobe. Like other Adobe programs, there are many ways to do the same thing in Audition, and you can change your workspace to fit your needs. This program has panels, which you can choose to show or hide. Specific panels we recommend you have open are the editor window. This allows you to see the audio you are editing. Files. This allows you to see all files you have open in the program. Markers. This allows you to mark a point in time or an audio clip. Selection view. This allows you to select an audio clip and to view it. Levels. This allows you to add volume levels, frequency levels, etc. And tools. This allows you to move, to cut, to regroup different audio clips. To hide a panel you are not using, or to open a panel that you need, just go to the window menu at the top of the page. You can move these panels around your workspace. There are two main modes in Audition. Later on, we will show you multi-track mode, which can do many things and allows you to put together multiple files at the same time. But we're going to start with Waveform mode. This allows you to edit a single audio file. All the files you're working with need to be saved to your computer or to a network. For example, if you have files saved to your phone, a recorder, or to a cloud-based software like Dropbox or Google Drive, you first need to download those files. At WORT, the network all of our programmers use is the production network. You can find this network as a shortcut on the desktop. Let's open a file that we have saved to our computer. There are multiple ways to do this. Go to the File menu at the top of the screen and click Open. Navigate to your files and select them. Then click Open. Another method for opening an audio file is to drag and drop. Make your Audition window smaller than full screen. Elsewhere on your screen, go to the folder that contains your files. Select your file and drag it into Audition. You can select multiple files by clicking the first file you want to import, hitting Shift, then clicking the last file you want to import and dragging them over. You can also hit Ctrl+A for all files in a folder, or just Ctrl to select individual files. Double-click on one of your files. You'll see it opens in the editor screen. You can see the intensity of sound waves on the vertical axis. We are measuring time on the horizontal axis. In this example, you can see the time across the top. Right now, we see the whole file. To zoom in to a part of the file and see the sound waves in more detail, We just need to hover our mouse over the part of the file we want to see closer. Use the scroll wheel on your mouse to zoom in. Now practice scrolling out. You'll see that the gray bar at the top of the screen changes. What's highlighted in gray is what we see in the editor panel, relative to the whole audio file. When we are zoomed all the way out, we'll see the whole file, and you will see the entire bar at the top is gray. When we are zoomed in more, only the part we see in our screen is grayed out in the bar above. You can click on this bar and drag over to a different part of the file. You can adjust this gray bar by pulling on its handles on the side. You use multiple senses when editing audio. You use your ears and your eyes. And we recommend you use both hands, your dominant hand on the mouse and your other hand on the keyboard. Editing will go much faster if you learn to use both hands, one on the mouse and one on the keyboard. This red line is your cursor. It indicates where you are in the file. You can click anywhere along the file to jump to that part of the audio file. The playback controls are at the bottom of the screen. There is play, stop, start. But we recommend you use the space bar to play and stop. With your hand on the mouse, click to a part of the file. With your other hand, hovered over the keyboard, hit the space bar. You will hear your file playing. The sounds you are hearing are the sounds the cursor is scrolling through. Hit the space bar again to stop. Notice how my screen is scrolling along with me. If your screen is flipping through your audio like a book, you might want to switch to continue scrolling. Go to Preferences, Playback and Recording, and under Scroll Type in Waveform Editor, click Centered. Do the same for Scroll Type in Multitrack Editor and click OK. You can select pieces of audio and isolate them. Click and drag your mouse across some of the audio. Notice how what is selected is white. Then hit the space bar. Notice how it only plays that section. If you have loop enabled, it will play that section continuously. You can toggle between enabling and disabling loop. Why don't you enable loop? In Audition, when settings are enabled, they are blue. Click and drag a different part of the audio. This time, try to select a sentence. Hit the spacebar to play.
So this is the second of two evaluations that we've done with the city.
Did you get all of your sentence? Did it stop in the middle of a syllable? This is why using your eyes is important. The cursor will show you what is playing as you are hearing it. As you get used to this program, you will feel more comfortable identifying audio.
So this is the second of two evaluations that we've done with the city. We're a contracted partner with the city. Impacts.
Try to select an in your audio. Remember, click and drag your cursor. Then hit the space bar to play it. Then hit the delete to delete it. Click a few seconds before what you just deleted and hit the space bar.
indirect impacts of these programs.
Did that deletion sound natural? If it didn't, you can undo it. In Audition, you hit Ctrl plus Z to undo your last action. It is important to listen back to each edit.
Indirect impacts.
Sound travels through a medium, air, by changes in pressure in the form of waves. When those waves reach our eardrums, we interpret them as sound. The timing of those waves is the frequency. Frequency corresponds to how long it takes for a wave to complete one cycle. We measure sound waves with hertz or cycles per second. Amplitude corresponds to how much the sound wave fluctuates up and down. Audiophiles with smaller fluctuations are quieter. Audiophiles with bigger fluctuations are louder. We measure amplitude with decibels, or D capital B for short. In most circumstances of people talking, you want your sound waves to be just around -6 decibels. Decibels tell us the gain of our audio, how loud it will be across a variety of devices. You can adjust the decibels for your sound files using this floating display. Click and drag the dial to the right to increase the gain. Click and drag the dial to the left to decrease the gain. You can click and drag to select a portion of the audio. Then adjust the gain just for that section. With some exceptions, decibel levels should be relatively consistent across a piece of audio. This allows listeners to hear the whole interview without having to adjust their volume. Another useful part of waveform recording are markers. They are displayed in this panel right here. Markers allow you to bookmark clips of your audio. They can assist you in editing. Say there is a powerful clip I know I want to refer to. I can click the beginning of the clip to move my cursor there. Then I hit M to add a marker. This will show up on my screen and in my marker panel. I can even title it by double-clicking, typing the new name, and hitting Enter. You can add a marker to a whole clip. Click and drag to select the piece of audio you want to mark. Then hit M on your keyboard. It will display the marker at both the beginning and end of the clip. One reason this is nice is because Audition has a feature called snapping. When snapping is enabled, you can see it with the horseshoe magnet up here. It is easier to precisely select the audio you want. Let's enable snapping and select this clip bounded by markers. Let's disable snapping. Just hit S on your keyboard and then try to select this clip. It's harder to do. And while it may seem like a minute difference, precision in selecting audio is important. Editing audio in waveform mode takes some getting used to. Editing in this mode is mostly subtractive. It is like you are carving a marble statue. By deleting, you are carving out the parts you don't want. But like carving a statue, you have to be careful that you are deleting only what you want to delete. Unsaved changes are indicated with an asterisk next to the file name. Let's save the file. The first time you save a file, a dialog box pops up. 3 things to be very mindful of when saving. The first is the location you are saving your file. In Audition, the default to save your file is the last place that Audition saved something. You can select the specific place you would like to save your file by clicking Browse. Then navigate to the folder you'd like to save the file in. The second thing to be mindful of is the audio format. You want to save in either MP3 or WAV mode. WAV is uncompressed, meaning it will keep all of the audio data. But it can also be a very large file. It can take up lots of memory and also take a long time to transfer to a new location or upload. In most circumstances, MP3 works just fine. This is a compressed audio file, meaning some audio data will be thrown out. For the most part, that is okay. But we want to save at the highest possible compression setting. That's 320 kilobits per second. If using MP3, make sure you save at 320 kilobits per second. Any lower setting will degrade your audio. Lastly, save your file with a sample rate of 14,000. These sample rates cooperate the best with WORT's soundboards when played back. Click OK to save your file. When you save your file, the asterisk disappears. It will appear the next time you make an edit, but the dialog box will not pop up again. In Waveform mode, after you alter your file and then save those edits, those changes get saved to the audio file. The next time you open Audition to work on your file, there's no way to undo any of those changes. This gets us to the fundamental difference between the 2 modes in Adobe Audition. Editing in Waveform mode, while straightforward, is known as destructive editing. Your edits get saved to the audio file itself. But in Audition, there is a second way. You can edit audio in a way that is non-destructive. That means you can make whatever changes to a file, but it doesn't touch in any way your underlying file. That is the power of multi-track mode.